Hi, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I will be bringing you three more paper flower DIYs. So the first flower is a hydrangea, and I've already cut my pieces off of Design Space with my Cricut, and these were a print and cut, which I really liked. So it was the little flowers and the leaves, and that leaf there has a score in the center of it, and I'm just folding it around it, folding it on the score line. So 3 leaves and 30 of the little flowers, and actually it has 2 sets of these. And now I'm just using some wire that I had. This is some of my jewelry wire, but it's probably best to use floral wire, but if all you have is jewelry wire, you can use that. I think this is probably about maybe a 20 gauge, maybe, yeah, probably about a 20 gauge, I guess. Maybe not quite that thick. And I'm cutting these 10 inches long, and you'll want 30 of them. So 30 10-inch long wires. And I didn't have green, so I had some blue green and then some green blue. So I was using those. Now I'm just straightening up the wire a little bit, and then I'm using my jewelry tool there, and I'm putting a loop on the end of the wire. And then once I get my loop on there, I'm going to bend it 90 degrees. So there it is. Now you really don't need the jewelry tool to make the loop. You can use like the end of a paintbrush or something like that. So yeah, just straightening the wire, putting a loop in it, and then bending the loop at a 90-degree angle. And you want to do 30 wires that way. They're 10 inches long. So now that I have loops in all 30 of my wires, I'm going to start putting them together. So I'm just taking all 30 wires, putting them together. They don't have to be perfectly even. And then I have one that I already put a flower petal on there, or a little flower on. And now you want to measure about 3 inches from the top where the loops are. And then you're going to start wrapping it with the floral tape. Now I did put a little bit of hot glue on there first. Excuse me. Just to get the floral tape to stick a little bit better to start out with. And then I'm going to start wrapping towards the bottom end of the wires. So you're wrapping all 30 wires together. And this is just some floral tape that I got from Dollar Tree years ago. So as you put it on, you're stretching it a little bit, and that's kind of what makes it stick. And as I'm going along, I'm straightening the wires a little bit also. I'm just showing you how I've got it wrapped on there so far. So your tape kind of wants to bunch up a little bit, but you want to unbunch it. Is that a word? So that it goes straight on your stem there. Again, I'm straightening as I'm going along. And you want it pretty tight because you don't want your wires coming out. So you just keep wrapping until you get to the end of it. And then once I got to the end, I wrapped it a little bit, and then I started back up the stem for probably about 1/2 inch. And then I ripped my floral tape off. And now you want to take your, which we're going to call stems, flower stems there, and you want to spread them out. Those are your wires with the loops on them. So you want to spread them out. I don't have any hydrangea, but my sister who lives in Georgia does. Very pretty. I think hers are blue also. She has them in the front of her house. So again, you just keep separating your wires. They do get a little tangled on the little loops that you made. So you need to be careful when you're pulling them apart. And I put the loops on it to make the flowers stick better to the stems. And now I'm just going to curl the flowers outward, kind of downward towards the outside, and you can use a pencil, but since I have this jewelry tool and it's skinnier than the pencil, it'll work a little bit better, so I'm just going to use that. But you can use a pencil, you can use the end of a paintbrush. It's a little bit smaller than a pencil, so it would work well. So you just want to do this with all of your flowers. And like I said, this was a print and cut. So you print it from Design Space onto your printer, and then your Cricut cuts it out. And I think it turned out really well. I really liked it. I want to do some more print and cuts. Let me know if you've done any. Put it in the comments. So for this video, I'm going to show you 3 different flowers. And they're all from Design Space. And they're all on cardstock. So I just use plain white cardstock for this project. Now I have all of my little flowers there. I have all the petals bent back a little bit. And now we're going to hot glue them onto the loops of the wire stems. So I'm just trying to show you the back side there. So if you don't put the loops on your stems, it's really hard to get the flowers to stick to the the wire. So I thought with the loops, that way it would give you better traction with the glue. And it worked out really well. So if you're going to do this, make sure you put the loops in the ends of the wire. Here we got 3 of our flowers on. We only have 27 more to go, because each of the hydrangea of these have 30 flowers. Now you can either put the glue on the bottom of the flower and put it on the loop, or you can put your glue on the loop and put your flower on the loop. So either way, and I do it both ways. If you put your glue on the loop, sometimes before you get your flower onto it, the glue will drip a little bit. So whatever works best for you. Going to speed this up so you don't have to watch this in real time forever. It was real time prior to this, but now I'm putting the glue on the loops and then putting the flowers on. It's starting to look pretty. So I just used the 8.5 by 11 white cardstock. I'm not sure what weight it is. I want to say probably the 60, is it 65 pound? Is what I want to say it was. And you can get this cardstock at Walmart, or you can also get it at an Office Depot, any of the stores that sell office supplies. I don't know what is cheaper. So we're down to 3 little flowers left. So I'm going to slow this back down to regular time. I was just trying to catch a little bit of that glue that was trying to drip off of that. And this is the last one, number 30. Now I'm just picking off the glue strings. I do have a container here that I'm putting the extra glue in that has dried. I didn't want to throw it away, and one day I'm going to get me a glue pot and I'm going to use those pieces for it. Now I'm just going to glue the 3 leaves together. Overlapping them a little bit, not too much. And now I'm going to take my hole punch and I'm going to punch a hole in the center where the 3 leaves are connected. There's the hole. I don't know if you can see it a little bit. And then I'm going to put my stem through it. The only thing was it was a little tight. I think, did I get it? So I'm just working it a little bit. And then I decide to use the pencil and push that through the hole to make it a little bit bigger. So that my stem can get through it. It's a pretty bulky stem with 30 pieces of wire in it. Now I'm just putting glue around the inner edge of the leaves. And then I'm going to scoot it up to the flower. And now I'm just going to fiddle with this a little bit and, you know, make it look prettier. Move my flowers around a little. Make it look more like a hydrangea. Very pretty. Isn't that pretty? I love it. So now I'm just taking my heat gun and I am trying to get off all the glue strings. And basically what it does is it just kind of melts the glue strings down so you don't see them. So there it is. I love it. Love it, love, love it. And this is one I did previously. And I'm going to cut that stem down because I did it by the instructions and it said 12-inch 12-inch wires, but I find the 12-inch to be a little tall. I mean, if you put it in a taller vase, it would probably be fine. But I wanted my tube to go together a little bit better. And now since I cut that off, I'm going to redo a little bit of the floral tape on it. Just going to add a little bit more towards the bottom area there where I cut it. So I'll probably cut about a ½ inch off. So when you go to make this on Design Space, it has enough of the materials for 2. But you can always customize it. And there they are. Aren't they pretty? And here's a picture of them coming up. Look at that. They look purple in the picture, but they are really blue. Hydrangeas. And now we're going on to the azaleas. Again, this is another design from Design Space. And here's all the pieces that I have cut out. And now what I want to do is I want to fold each petal in half. Now, this particular design did not have a score line on it. So I'm just going to use my ruler and I'm just going to wrap each petal. Well, I'm going to fold it over the edge of the ruler, trying to get it as much in the center as possible. And I want to do this with each of the flower sections. So there's one section completely folded. And my cutter piece, blade, whatever you want to call it, is kind of dull right now because I've been doing so many paper projects. So it was kind of ripping my cardstock. And so I just had to cut that little piece off. But I ordered some more blades off of Amazon and they're supposed to be coming today. I can't wait. So I did this to all 5 of the flower sections, or maybe there's 6. Nope, there's 5. And now what you want to do is start layering your flower. You want the biggest piece. You want to start with the largest flower section. You're going to put a little bit of hot glue in the center. And then you're going to take the next largest piece and put it on top of that. And then you want to alternate your flower petals. So you want to make sure the petals on this piece go in between where the petals are on the bottom piece. And you want to do that with each layer. This is a pretty simple flower to make. So an azalea. Now that we have all of our flower sections together, we're going to work on the center section there. Doing the same thing, just putting some hot glue on the bottom of it and then adding it to your flower. And then putting some hot glue on this piece and adding it to the piece you just put on. Now I'm just kind of turning it so that they don't line up. They kind of alternate. And now I'm just going to fluff it up a little bit. You want to do the top layer first. But be gentle. These are tiny little cut pieces. And once you get that top layer done, do the next layer. And then once you get it done, then you can do your flower petals. See how they're kind of flat there? I mean, the center is poking out, but your flower petals are flat. I'm still working on the middle there. There it is. Isn't that cute? I love making flowers. Now I'm just going to fold the petals starting with the smallest and then going to the largest. You just want to do one section at a time. So I'm just pinching it together where the fold is. And this gives it dimension. So again, you're just doing each section at a time, starting with the center and then going out. Doesn't that look so much better than just a flat flower? I love it. Look at that. So pretty. Okay, now we need to give it a stem and some leaves. So I have this stem that I cut off of this bunch. I'd already used the flowers. And it says glitter berries. I had gotten them at the Dollar Tree probably a couple years ago. These were like the blue fuzzy balls, berries or whatever they want to call them. And these were just the stems that I kept. So don't throw those away. You can always use them. And I'm taking this X-Acto knife and I'm just putting a hole through my flower there so that my stem can go up in it. I'm adding some hot glue to the end of the stem. And then I'm going to put that in the hole we just created. Now, I didn't make the hole go all the way through. I just went through the flowers, not the middle section. And now I'm going to put some glue around the stem where the leaves are. So I'm putting it actually on the leaves, but very close to the stem, and then I'm just going to push that up so that it's next to the flower itself. And look, it popped off. So I'm just going to put that back in there. I don't think I had it far enough in. So I'm just twisting it, trying to get it up in there. Straightening out my leaves there. Now I have to fluff everything. That takes the most time, is fluffing. And I end up doing it several times too. But when you fluff it, you want to start with the center and go to the outer edges. Just doing one layer at a time. And like I said, when you do that, it gives your flower dimension. There it is, my azalea. So I have another one that I made in yellow. Isn't that cute? Love my azaleas. Let me know if you all make paper flowers in the comments, and if you like doing it. So I usually make one ahead of time so that I know how to make it when I show you. And there it is in a little container. Isn't that cute? My azaleas. And now we'll move on to our last flower, an anemone. 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 That's what it's called. Anemone. So I have this green paint that I'm matching up to the leaves that are there. And I want to say it's maybe a shamrock green. That's not true. Let me see. Parakeet green. So it's just acrylic paint and parakeet, and then I have a skewer. So I just painted it and then I wiped it off. So there it's all done, and now I have the middle of the flower. Again, this is just another one of those off of Design Space. They did not name the flower on Design Space, so you're just going to have to type in 3D flowers, and this was white. And I looked it up, and it looked like an anemone. And that is a flower. But it does come in different colors, and I decided to make 2 white ones. So this is just the center portion. I put a little bit of glue on the tab. And then we're just going to glue it together there into like a tube shape. And then those center pieces need to go towards the center. And then you have the tabs on the bottom. You want to fold those into the center. Now, I did make a mistake on the next part. So on these flower petals, you do want to fold them first. So fold them in half before you put these together. I forgot this step and did it later. But there are tabs on the bottom of these, and you just want to kind of overlap them, and then you're going to glue them down. So there's 5 flower petals and 2 sections. So this is the first section, and you want to glue 2 of these together, and then you're going to glue the next one on. And the flower petal is cut down at the bottom, and you just want to slip 1 tab on the upper part and then 1 tab on the bottom part that you're hooking it onto, and then you just glue that down. Glue the 2 tabs down. But like I said, you want to fold these in half first. So it's just to create a score line for later when you go to pinch them together to create dimension, like we did in the last flower. So I totally forgot about that step, and I had to do it later, and it's a little bit more difficult if you wait and do it later. Okay, so now we have our 5th petal. So there's only 2 sections and 5 petals in each section. Now on Design Space, this does make 2 flowers, so it's double what you see here. You can excuse me, you can customize it. So now I just have my little hole punch here, and I'm going to punch a hole in the middle where we glued all this together, because we want to be able to put the stem up through it. So we have our hole there, and this is the larger of the petals. So now we're going to work on the smaller of the petals. And again, you do want to fold them in half before you put them together. So that'll just give you a fold line or a score line. So we're going to put these together just like we did the previous petal set. And again, there are 5 petals. So you just hook the tabs of the one you're adding on, one to the front and one underneath, and then you're just gluing them down. And there's our last petal. And now we want to punch a hole in the middle of this one. Now we have these two little circles there, and we want holes in them also. And so we want to put on the petals that are smaller, we want the round circle in the center of the upside of it, the front side of it. I'm just trying to figure out which way it's going to go. And then you want to make sure you line up your holes. So this one goes in the smaller petal flower set on the outside, or the, the front side. And this one goes on the underneath side of the larger set of petals. So the bottom side. Make sure you line up your holes. And now you want to put these two petal sets together. And the best way to do it is go ahead and put it on the skewer, and you do want to use the pointy side. And be careful of your fingers. Make sure they're out of the way. I did kind of punch a hole in my finger. It bled, yeah. And so when you put right there, when you put your next set of petals on, you want to put some glue on, and then you want to make sure your petals are in between where the other petals are. You don't want to line them up. You want to stagger them. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Make sure they're in between. And now this is where I'm like, oh, well, I forgot to fold these. So now I'm folding them, but you should have already done that. So you'll be okay. So I did the top ones first. Now I'm going to do the bottom set. And it does give them dimension, makes them look a lot better. Okay, so now we're going to put a hole in the center of our leaf. So there's two leaves. There's a bigger one and then a smaller one. And then in the center of, I'm not sure what you call these. And then my cutter didn't want to cut them all. So all the little pieces aren't there. So when I line them up, I need to make sure that I stagger them so you don't see all the holes in one place. So I'm going to put those dark pieces on first. Just put some glue in the middle of the flower. Put one of them down on the skewer. Push it down. Put some more glue on. And then put the other dark piece on. And like I say, I want to line it up so those spaces that are empty, that should have cut, then the other pieces have it on there so you're not really seeing it. You're not really seeing the spaces. And now we want to put that middle piece on. So it's okay if our stick pokes through because you're not going to see that. And then I'm putting some glue around the outer edge of that center part there. And then we're going to put our middle on. So it's almost like a little cap. And I think that just makes the flower, those pieces we just added. Makes it so pretty. Now I'm just going to fluff it a little bit. Just gives it dimension. And again, I'm saying this flower is, okay, let me think about it, anemone. Or that's what it looked like to me. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now we want to add our leaves. And my hole was just a little bit too little for that blunt end to go in through it. So I have this piece that came off another skewer, and I just poked it right through there, you know, with the sharp end. And then I want to take my glue to the center portion of the leaf. And then I'm just going to scooch it up to the bottom of the flower. Now you could put the glue on the flower instead if you wanted to. And now I have my other leaf that we need to add on. And watch carefully what I do after I put the glue on it. So I'm just trying to decide right now where exactly I want it to be. See, I have the glue there on that side. Excuse me. Instead of flipping it over, I left it there thinking that, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to stick it on there. No, you're not. You put the glue on, you didn't flip it over. So that's where I realize it. Now I got to add some more glue. Flip it over. And then decide where I need to put it. And I'm just going to add it right in there. And then that's it. This one is done. Isn't it pretty? I really like it. Let me know which of these 3 flowers is your favorite. The hydrangea, the azalea, or the, and look, it's too tall, so I'm going to I cut some of that off. Still too tall, so I cut a little bit more off. Look at that. So the hydrangea, the azalea, or the anemone. I don't know. I like them all. I like them all. But I'm biased, so. There it is. There's a picture of it. Aren't they cute? Love them. And there's all 3 of them. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite. Again, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and if you like what you see here, please give me a thumbs up. And if you know others that would like to see these projects that I do, please feel free to share my videos with them. And I want to thank you for watching my videos, and I want to thank my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.